Hello and welcome everybody to the number 7, the 7th session of the Mozhan training on this very Monday, where we started the spaceship program in Austria all together, and we are part of it, even we are not sitting right now in Linz. We have spent the last couple of weeks going through the ocean, and now we are in midst of the desert, where we were approaching a portal, and this portal is now today present with us all the time. Before we can go through the portal, we need to know how we perceive reality, existence as itself, what resolution you give yourselves to see the whole picture. And so we are walking in the desert, and the portal is very close. As a preparation for all of us, in the moment when we enter the portal, we enter the dimension where there is no time and no space. The black hole that engulfs all us together carries everything, everyone, all there is in it. And so that nobody gets lost, we speak of the 3-6 today together as they sum up in the number of 9, which is in the soul language number for resolution. So this message coming to us is now from a different time, from a different place, but it joins us here to be shared. To give you the understanding of what it means to be in change, in a constant flow, to never be the same as before. So, we are back. We are here in the here now, or somewhere, or everywhere, or nowhere. Yeah, I came into creating some artifacts. So we are going from the oracle, as in the first video we talked about. We are going to talk about now the number 9, the resolution. So
Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing here, but I just want to show you. That's what I mean with string or wave, and it's a fractalization, so you can see some bigger mouse arrows in the more towards the center and smaller ones towards the top. And this is just happening because it's overlaying mouse and so many times. And then we have that string that is like train. So that's a connection. That's how we connect. So it's basically like light or magnetic. You could say visible because it's bright. And the contrary would be, so if we would imagine that now the black background would be pulling that string slowly, but through its force or through its possibility to pull the string, but basically being like water, and the string would be like ships or whatever, something floating on it and in a string copied by itself. Meaning so that we have the water, the background that is controlling the wave, and therefore we have different movement probably than just this one. So not only sideways but upwards and downwards. And if we do spirals, we get even more to see. Well, yeah, that's funny. Where is it? The thing today, you're gonna see a bit more of what appears to be me, and I would like to bring you up to speed, meaning that I would invite you to join me here in the orbit. So maybe we can go to the moon together, depending on how much you can let go and imagine to create that journey for yourself. So I invite you to come with me here as like 50% of the way, and I don't want to spoil you too much, but you need to figure out yourself the second part. Otherwise it will be just too boring for you to copy paste. Anyways, well, the mic is quite okay, looks more or less. We have another space or room, and that will be if so basically the point here is to show you some. It's basically like a house guide. You could either join me in the orbit or here in the void, which is basically a mirror image of myself or ourselves, and there are some just watch the picture, the background. So I will step a bit away for you to see more, but basically that's the head, so that's more or less accurate. Yeah, like that, like this, more or less like that. Yeah. So I would literally invite you to join the program Zoom. Then it's basically free, but you need to dial a number up to join this room here, and it can host up to 49 people. So let's see how long it takes to get there in case we need to go there. I have no idea. So yeah, but basically that's the mirror room, or the void, right in your face. And then we have like different ways of seeing things. So I think I mentioned that the mirror might be just in a very fractalized way in every single particle. So that's, let's say that's a nearment or a close up to that idea in terms of reality or doable media stuff by just one click. It could be an old movie as well. It just, why is that? That wasn't there. Yeah, it's not there. So the old movie has this blackish top left corner. Yeah. Yeah, if we imagine the older is containing a little spark of light or soul in itself, that would look probably like that. Yet it's more like an ant game. We miss the color, of course, so it goes even worse if we go this way, but that looks like the Alice in Wonderland setting. And so that this is duality. So if you see just black and white, and you always have to choose or want to choose, and therefore to judge, this is actually topic number 2 or number 2 as well. Well, as you can see, it's basically aligning in what I show you as a picture. So I show you the contrast in the duality of black and white-ish, more or less orderly and evenly shared. So we could talk about peace in this regard. On the other hand, we know that this is not very yeah, I don't know how long we could stay in a reality that just looks like that in real outside. Like you leave the house and it looks like that, everything. So what else we have? Yeah, that's not so bad. Okay, I see something is not actually as I wanted, but yeah, anyways. Yeah, like very smoky, blurred. That's actually one I like too very much. So because it's called edges. Morph, swirl. Yeah, I'm actually spoiling quite some tech stuff here. That's also not so bad. So now we have the ant world and some color in it. Whoa. How was that? That was nice. Let's do it again. So we go from like a dark setting to boom. Yeah, nothing got destroyed, but it's just bam. Yeah. So that's actually the, well, I'm not doing anything, it's just pulsating. Interesting. Just my heartbeat, maybe. So yeah, depending on the resolution, if we would consider this as very low resolution, because it would be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 16 by, I don't know, maybe, yeah, maybe 16 by 16 or more or less something like that, squares. That would be maybe 256 of these squares split in either black or white, and that thing here would still be something that it's yeah, like me. And so that would be kind of a harsh world to live in. And if we go to this would be more like a night world. So maybe we can talk about dreams later on in this setting. And this one as, yeah, quite a bit down. Oh no, not really. Yeah, but it's nice. Yeah, about talking about resolution, meaning you can see how much more differentiated or fractalized in terms of colors and shapes. Again, this or that, very simple, abstract, or this one even dynamic. And so resolution means the potentiality for you to imagine and therefore manifest your reality at your liking or disliking, depending how much you are aware of your own power and trust there is in for you. So now when we have a more detailed picture, we can enjoy more in a sophisticated way, but also in a more horrible or terrible way in other areas, to come back again to the underlying duality or the second level before you basically find the solution to number one. And so basically you need to reach level 9 or number 9, or number 9 is standing for the term of change and or dynamic energy or flow, and so many different words. But actually change, to keep it simple, and change means that you have to surrender to change in general in all areas of your life, because that means that your body would be able to change in all areas as well, to either worse or better, depending on your journey or the road that is that you are taking and stepping day by day. So meaning that change of the situation here, which can be quite irritating or getting irritated. So maybe we can just go for this for a moment. So when we surrender to change, we basically confirm the trust that we know that after all the first 8 steps or levels or numbers we have gone through in ways of understanding with our part of the consciousness, that we are all connected with each other. So to learn and grow or to let go would be meaning the same, totally the same. and the resolution here gives you then the beauty or the horrors of your imagination, depending on the path you took already when you stepped the first level, and then the second and the third and the fourth and so on. So it's a chain reaction. It's that string that we saw in the beginning that basically is dynamic, and it's a flow. And if you can join your inner flow in all parts of your life aspects, meaning you think about it, you feel it, you act about it, and yeah, you are just aligned, totally one with the road. So you basically walk your talk, and that's a good there's a good story in it. As imagine that all the people today would just do really what they say all the time. We would have totally, completely world in very short time. Yet most of the time we find ourselves just speaking one thing and doing just maybe just a couple of minutes we do it, and then, or a couple of days or whatever, even weeks or months, probably years, but at some point we just let it go, and yeah, we actually drop it like it's not hot anymore. So why would we drop ourselves? That's more the accurate picture that we should face here. In regard to resolution, means if the picture that you see is actually again the picturation of you as a player or a character in a world that you have to dominate or whatever, control, then it's basically the zoom would be on that ego of yours, much more, and less likely than seeing more of the landscape, and basically seeing the smaller picture in a big picture, and therefore losing the resolution by zooming in. And that's again the focus that we have to completely let go to see the big picture. So we don't even see it as a physical picture with our eyes. In reality, it's more of an understanding and imagining of how everything is for you to be seen, no matter if everything is actually visible right now, because you're just at one part of the world and not at any other one. So So I have to fix that now, because something you can't really see here that I would like to show. Why is that? What happened here? That's more how it should be. There's quite some pieces I'm missing here. So now we're gonna just, let's say, enchant the room. And just like that. You see a little bit more. And I referred in the ending of the first video about this lamp here, over here. Yeah, now you can see my finger. So this is in the casual way, like that. Just like, what's the name? It's not copper, it's the brass. I think it's brass. Yeah, so it's what happened? So now you see what I mean. So it's a brass, looks like a seed somehow, and yet it's a lamp. When you can see that the light is fractalized into, looks like waves, on the wall behind. So now this is going to be much more fun in terms of changing the vision or the perspective that we could take on anything. So that's what I'm doing here, by just doing a new setting, by in a second to let your mind free, set your mind free to do that and adapt to new circumstances and stay to your true self, because that's in the sooner or later game of our lives quite a piece of work for us to face. And I would like to offer you my assistance in that topic, that regard. So either asking me stuff or basically, it would basically, I think it would start with a question. I appreciate anything that comes in. There were already questions coming in, but I will just gather some more to add it to the picture. But now we just need the basics, so we're going through the principal numbers, and that would be the 0 to 9. And we start already with the oracle, and that was, as you imagined, 0. So now we are going actually backwards, so that's why 9 resolution. And the resolution here again, I would like to, this mouse is very loud, I know. Go to this, and so now you can see much more of now we can even try this. So yeah, this lamp looks like more now like a flower, or like quite some explosion. Look it as some way what we perceive or understand, or however imagine being aura or radiation that can be seen, but surely felt. So it's a fractalization, it's a splitting of the light from the from the containing all possible color into just one specific. And so we are able to see a rainbow and other ways of reflections, but yeah, by reflection actually being a separation, but that's the illusion, because we are both the illusion and the creator of the illusion. So what are you creating, what are you seeing in the big picture is basically your life, it's your experience. And if someone tells you that the average lifetime in your country is about, I don't know, 60-ish years, and you believe it your whole life, yeah, guess what, what's gonna happen when you're 60-ish years old. But if you can find yourself getting to know your experience and your role, or how you perceive and participate in the reality or the society or nature, or whatever it's in your life, in your daily doings and thinkings, it's your responsibility, it's your abundance actually. And usually we are facing scarcity and fears that do actually hinder and oppose this freedom of choice. And so when you have a low resolution picture in number 9, then the change is harsh. And if it's a big picture and you see yourself just as a little piece of it, it's more likely that it will be much more fluid and fluent. And the change would be or like a wind, yeah. So of course it could be a hurricane as well. So yeah, just be aware of that. What else to number 9? Yeah, if we can consider, as we spoke about the oracle, the zero, the all-containing, or the void, the black hole, and now being not there actually, but almost there, and that would be number 9. So the change would be not the nothingness, but the change, the process to arrive in the nothingness. If we would see the upward level going after 9, reaching 0 before you return to 1, if you go that direction into of the wheel. So yeah, we could change here the colors. I think that works now. Yep. So as you can see, this is just by light changes and one filter, or maybe a couple, I have no idea. This is going to create 3 times. So if we would be anxious about hands, you must be fearful 3 times by just seeing 3 hands now, or at least 2 most of the time. So this over-exaggeration, just proven here in this simple experiment, is actually quite reality in terms of what travels our mind. And we have the same issue of not letting go, or not accepting change, and therefore struggling or being hurt, or yeah, somehow being dreaded through life, and not being in awareness, because we don't want to feel more intense of that pain, or whatever mind situation that you all are going through. So being connected within yourself, to yourself, would mean that there is nothing from outside that could irritate you and therefore interact or destroy the big picture of your existence. So if yeah, if there is anyone or anything that is basically putting some fear in front of you up, it is a reflection of that fear that you carry around already, and that person is here to help you going through those fears. Yet if you don't face it, it's more likely that you are not solving the situation, and it's like unfinished business. And yeah, that can be a good thing, maybe not. It depends. It's just a thing. Fear is the worst enemy. It is the it's our nemesis. It's this opponent, this enemy of all of ours, that is a copy of ourselves, but as a shadow or like a ghost, or it's just that thing that seems not to be very to like ourselves, or both of us. We don't know, but we fight each other. The thing is that in the moment that we want to just even imagine that there is something or someone called like that nemesis, we create him or her in our reality already. So if we don't think about it, if we don't need to have it in the creation, in the daily business of ours, then there is no fight, and therefore there is no nemesis. There is the unity of the nemesis and you or us or everything together in a peaceful and different state of consciousness and experience. So it's a challenge, the big picture, to understand and to basically build up, because it's like a puzzle. And if you start the puzzle in the very early ages or years of life, in the early years of our lives, usually we question so many things, and we try out everything, and then we drop it, and then we try out something new, and then we drop it. And so mankind today, most of them don't really seem to be mature or grown up, because we really do the same thing again. We try something out, throw it away, and so much we generate trash and garbage to pollute. And if you just want to know that, just for an example of the mirror here, is that this pollution is happening inside of us and in our reality around us. So we share it outside and we share it inside, fractalized or partially as well. So in terms of smoking, it's quite easy. So if we have something somewhere burning woods or forests down, that would be like you have like a fire in your lung, or that you smoke or you pollute actually just with smoke your lungs. So that's an accurate picture. We actually pollute the big lung, that would be the atmosphere around the globe, around Earth. So and that will be then the collective I can't say accident, but because we know what we're doing, we just pretend to not know that what we are doing. So, but it's actually reversible. It can be balanced and stuff, but this needs again change, and that needs to be considered when we redraw or change actually the big picture. So the resolution, you better have a dynamic screen, we could say, that can display many different resolutions in very short time, and in ongoing and lag-free, at least 60 hertz or more as a refresh rate. So you won't see any like frozen images basically, and it looks like more of a movie. So everything is flowing. Yeah, so access to the flow, and trust that you're not meant to drown in the flow. That's not the reason why you would enter the flow. But of course, you can also drown in water, and therefore you can drown in the flow in a good way and in a bad way. So it's also, again, depending very much of your intentions that you enter the game in the beginning. So, and how much you stay to the path. So that's number 9. Resolution. Is there anything else that I missed here? Yeah, we could go back to the picture and see if I missed anything. There's quite some more, I think. So just for the record, the zoom number in this trial run here would be 897581122. Zoom, ZOOM, and it's for free and stuff, blah blah. Yeah, let's just go shortly to the. Okay, I show you this. Yeah, how about that one? I like that one. Be right back. Well, I'm not leaving, I'm just looking up the picture, so. Okay. So that's loaded. Yeah, so we have number 9, resolution, entertainment. What does it mean, entertainment? Yeah, basically that's the ongoing change. So in case of, let's say, you're bored during whatever repetitive work or things you're doing during the days and maybe nights, which I mean sleeping without having a dream, or not sleeping much, or not in a good way. So basically that sleep would be useless. We don't need that much sleep, but that depends very much on the individual and how we are used to be going to sleep and stuff like that. Entertainment, yeah, that would be meaning like entertainment industries that keep us running with something, but it's always changing because that's what you're looking for, because otherwise it would just look like you look at the picture and nothing changes. So like no time, it's just like a 2D world which is not moving, and so yeah, let's take a look at your resolution. So how do you perceive things? Where are your limits? Where is your edge of the world? Or turn the hardware completely around, going from one to another system, or ecosystem, how they used to call it. So yeah, basically not knowing where you're going, that's what it means, change, but trusting that you will arrive in a better spot, basically, because, or at least in the same good, but different. So what else? Number 9, that's the top of it. To change, let go, and trust. Yeah, that's what we talked about, and that's the first video. That's the second here. Considering abundance, meaning letting go of the distraction or the illusion of dependency in number 9. If you haven't done it before, so at least here you need to let go of all of it. So yeah. And unfortunately this would be also something related to what we call death, or the end of physical experience in this immovable body at that certain moment of time. And yet is the question, not just now, but it might come up again, that is really true and just that has to be done or can be done, or is it also reversible? Is there really time going just in one direction? Is therefore a 2D dimension? And we just talked about the limitations of what we have when it's simple, but it's 2D, and yeah, that's the black and white squares image, so you don't want to go there. Yeah. What else can I do for you? A different image maybe will tell. Okay, we had that. Maybe this one. This is I think what is his name? Simon Peck or something? No, maybe Simon Peck, some guy on YouTube, and that's his idea. And basically, it's I would support this consideration of how it is. So you are, anyways. Then you do things or you don't. Then you think things, you don't. Then you have it or you don't. And then you want something, you already have enough. So when you understand here that everything you always needed is already here, so you have it. So it's on the left side of this border. So the wanting is just an irritation that's illusory, and it's not too well. You could say, yeah, it guides me. Yeah, of course, depends what you learn through this kind of guidance. If you want always things, and if this wanting is changing all the time, then the questions coming up: who is here not really happy with anything, and why, and is it just natural that we just do always different stuff, or is there something good in repetition? And I mean, yeah, that would apply to everything. I mean, if we want to achieve finally some state of world peace, that nobody gets hurt no matter what, then we don't need to question, now do we need to change that again? So that's what I mean. Stability or unity, oneness with all people is definitely one thing that we need to put in our focus much more in our daily life, and so act on it because we see the purpose and the benefits of the achievement of a union of peace, basically, to gather forces and then direct in a beneficial way for all the people and the environment, nature and animals and stuff like that. So yeah, I wanted to show you here that the change is basically, if you imagine an onion, or like we have different kind of shells. The Russians have the I think babushka or something, like a figure in a figure and a figure, and so it figures itself out when you open it, and it figures itself in if you put them together. So but meaning that's the fractalization. We remember the mouse string either being the force or the wave, but being both 50-50, even, so to balance the potential. Maybe not in the visualist aspect, so that could be again like a camouflage, that the darkness is just there to hide the more powerful core in it. So the core, and then we have that what the core does. It works, or it provides, it unites, it supports, and it loves, and it cares as our heart in the physical reality all day and all night, and we were not taught about the work of our heart that much, as there are so many good things waiting for us to see and understand, if you can feel and therefore communicate with your organs, to become more efficient in an energetic way. So that's considering the do aspect. We know that thinking is basically the work of the brain, and the brain stores in memory there, so that's traveling in the past, if we want to say so. That would be the moment, that would be the past, and intention or imagination would be then more likely here in what you do. So you don't do anything physically but mentally, but here think you're going back, so you're going into a different, let's say you're old-fashioned, you wear old clothes or whatever, like from the Middle Ages and stuff. No judgment on that, I mean, just for an example to what you can imagine here. After you're done with the past, of course you want to come back to the moment, and that would be then still the past, but again your probable future and the craving for to have. So you won't be satisfied because you thought you need to catch up and everyone else gathered stuff already, so yeah, you need to catch up and buy all these things as soon as you can. So your field of experience is very large, and through that expansion it's heavy, and it's quite a burden to carry around all day. So and yet this force seems to be driven from an outside source, as we want stuff that we don't have yet. And so you see the dilemma that it actually starts with the thinking, and then going to the having, and then to the wanting. As you know that most of the time, if you don't shoot anyone or don't attack or whatever right now in the moment, it's not going to happen to you either. I mean, I hope so, but usually you don't need to do that in any case. And so why should it happen to you when you basically curate your reality in the mirror? So as long as you don't take the gun or take a sword, nobody gets hurt, and that means you are not hurt. You're not getting hurt anyway as well. So the doing then needs to be in relation to the environment of who you are, or what is your capability or possibility as an entity, as human or as animal, or manifestation in materialistic terms speaking, and how that could relate to the existing matter, or the surface of the planet, and what is your job, or what is your purpose, or what can you do, and this is also dynamic. Every ring of this is dynamic, so they can expand or go smaller. For example, if you live a life without having any or not that much materialistic cravings, this ring would be closer to you, so your forces would be more united, or not expanding that far, which which would mean that it's more peaceful for you in the moment. So that would be a good thing. You're more centered to yourself, because centering outside here is like you center quite like a table or a plate, quite a big plate, and that's not really necessary when you travel. So if you want to stand still, you can become the biggest table you want to serve, to be there for others if you want. Otherwise, why becoming a table? Otherwise, if you travel, want to move, then it's much more an aspect of who you are, or if you haven't found yourself when you're on this journey, then it is the destination of yours to arrive at yourself. So yeah, nostalgia here, traveling in the past, but just mentally, will usually lead to doings and acts of nonsense, because not only nonsense, but most of the time we're just looking into the past, means mirrored in the reality, our idols or our people that guide the society are usually quite old people, like Einstein, and or whatever, whoever he's maybe turning himself and sick of how many times he's getting mentioned. So we leave him be and peaceful. So yeah, the thinking will create the having or the craving for to have and wanting again. So when you arrive here, yeah, would you have already know when you wanted to find yourself here that would you like what you see? What happens if you get scared when what you might find on the way going to the center? Basically, going to the center means to dive into the big picture that you have in the resolution, and when you dive into this picture, you find the focus. So you basically find what part of the picture you're always looking at, and therefore being stuck and not being aware of the changes that you need to do or that are happening into your environment, which is out of your focus, basically. So to become centered means to find your focus first, and then review if it's the right one. Usually you want to change that focus, because that's why you got there, and maybe it was just the right focus. So you will find out when you're there, and when you find that moment of the focus, basically the center where the lens is looking at, you can pull from that center by acting of changing the, where is that? So we have to change the scene for a moment, as I wanted you to show that. I wanted to show you that. So this one here, this here is what is it? Telescope. So you can watch things like that on the sea, or from wherever, something in the distance. You can close it up through a couple of lenses that magnify usually the picture that you are watching at. But as you can see, you can just magnify that small spot, but you can do it basically freely wherever you can turn
vision or your eyes at. So when you're basically attached, or when you're having an issue and you want to change that situation, you are basically watching something. That's the problem. So now the solution is to find, by basically, because you don't know actually where to look at, so you need to find that spot where the problem sits. Then you don't need to fight the problem, because that would just sustain the situation of you keeping watching the problem, because that is the problem and you watching, that's the situation. So to resolve that issue is basically to watch the problem, then say, hey, good, was nice to meet you, see you another day, or maybe not. Then you just center yourself, you basically you go into yourself, and when you're there, you just if you're not afraid, you basically can go closer to that issue, that what makes you afraid, and then pull away, or just change, because nothing is going to happen. It's just a watching situation. It's like that problem is not coming to attack the focus. It's your focus creating what you see. So in that way, it would be like a beamer, like a projector that with your eyes you project the 3D reality in your mind and different places. So either you face the problem and you go to it, or you distance from it, and therefore needing still to let go of the problem in your mind. And that's usually easier when you face it and go closer, because then you know, let's say, more in detail what was so fearful about it or whatever, and then that will not so you grow on that. If you pull away, that's just usually an instinctive way of habits, a program that we are used to and trained to work, because that's the silly people. You know, when you have just people that they are going nuts when someone cries bomb or something, then you know, those people need help and support and security and blah blah. They are all depending, and so that's where we are heading. And so you're pulling away the lens from up front, so the problem might grow. Or the focus, the thing that you're growing, that you're focusing, might grow because you turn away, and then your mind, or at least your brain, will say, okay, we're not gonna talk about this anymore, meaning it will try to resist and keep it up. So that thing needs to become bigger if you let it. So, but if you can resolve peacefully and then switch your focus, everything will be totally fine, and you can do and repeat that again on another time. But again, not being basically abusive, again, because you need to be very flexible with this, and that's actually unconditional love. So the energy that you send out is this thing. It is like a light beam, or whatever you wanna call it. And you can contract it and reduce it, so you radiate less out, or you take more in, if you want to say so, or basically you just change the focus and play a different movie. Now it depends how much you got actually attached to the situation in the beginning. How hard it would be to leave the scene, because the scene might be so very beautiful and tempting that there would be totally no reason to leave, and yet you think you need to leave, and maybe it's just temporary and it's always just temporary to find yourself again. So contract together, switch the focus, watch something else, and that's just in your mind. So every single thought that we have and that makes us creates pain or fear is basically something in front of this lens here. So something in front of this lens that makes you keeping that one direction for a very long time. So in this regard, it's quite obvious that you or the one who watches is not very in control if something in front of the lens is basically make him look that way all the time. But if you can't, if you are able to basically, let go of it, and then probably just float away, or rise up, or whatever, levitate, or just be whatever. Dissolve, basically. To dissolve means that would be then your body, and that body has one focus: to live and to love and to experience as itself, to express him, herself, itself. And in the beginning it's small, then it grows up, then it contracts again like a heartbeat, and then it goes down to where it came from. The matter that we are is basically the resources of, it's basically the pixels of our physical reality is coming from the planet. So all the vegetables we ate and all that stuff, and the matter is, the manufacturer is Gaia, our Mother Earth, and we are just renting the car. So driving the car in some sort in a movie, which runs in your resolution, would make you a director, and it very much depends what kind of movie you're playing every day, or every day just one sort of movies that at least should make you happy or joyful, hopefully most of the time. Otherwise, why would you just hurt yourself? And yet maybe there's something to learn, and then it's always going to number 9, to let go, because when you're a baby, you're pretty damn sure, but you will never imagine it. Know that if there is not much really bad luck in your life, you're just gonna go and become old and have a long life, and so there is no need for fear. If on the other hand you're on the other side of the row, things might look quite differently, and then it's quite quite a question how we're dealing with it, and yet we don't really have much of a tribe behavior anymore. So we're not supporting each other in family family systems that much anymore, like before. We don't even have the respect or honor or standards. It's very much everyone on its own, and most for him or herself first, no matter everyone or everything else. And this rules of behavior led to the situation that we have today. And so we basically, when we think, we think about the past, and that's why old people or elderly people rule our planet, and that's why they are afraid, and that's why they need to control. And as long as we just pick it up and repeat, it's not going to change. It's going to be worse, because it can be automated and professionalized and monetized and blah blah. And so change resolution, going back to the sun, to the soul, means basically by the words themselves that you are part of what you're going back to. So you must be a sun, and I'm not talking about S-O-N, but S-U-N. So now, why should the light be afraid of the dark? Why ever? Because it can't see itself. because it's hidden in the dark. But the dark can see everything, because it's looking like the light is looking through it to see, and therefore that's the eye vision. How long do we run this? Oh, 1 hour again. Yeah, so something for short end. Number 9 means a 0 with a monkey tail on it, and that monkey tail gets eaten up by the 0 on the top. So that would basically be your physical body melting into light, raising up, not just gathering first in the heart, then raising up into your head, where the small soul or the soul is, the one that is going through number 9, and basically sits on cloud number 9 up there. So yeah, it is very much likely that number 9 is very close to the void. So we could say it's the source of the void, and therefore it is quite likely like the void, and attracting and pulling, and that means it will need to give as much as it pulls or takes. And yeah, what about no, nothing about anymore, I think, for today. So that was more or less quite a cross-country trail today. I will review it shortly, most probably, and then you will see it too. Next video will be number 8, Infinity, and maybe some backflash to other numbers as well. Maybe I just shut up because I'm just blah blah now. So thank you for listening and watching and stuff. You could have done it without me, but yeah, still nice for you to be here, and yeah, we see each other again, we hear each other, and thank you.
So I hope you're still with me, everyone. That was basically just the introduction as a backflash in time. So you were seeing some stages of my progress in the, let's say, in the middle, from when we had the Mozhan teachings back in 2016, I guess. And so this was one insight along the road, and yet it was so much aiming on the topic of today, because the creation that we are facing after going through the portal is against you again. So you are the creator that is basically just going through a door. And so not to lose yourself in the unknown means that you can see the supportive creation itself that you are part of. So no matter where you go, there will be ways and actually let's say cars and bikes and like vehicles for you to drive or to run, and this whole creation in the matter state we have today, maybe in a shorter version, but you already saw some glimpses of it in that video just before. We have one master of this 3D reality, and we will just change to this entity that is joining us today in the shape of a dragonfly. Dragonfly breaks illusions, brings visions of power. No need to prove it. Now is the hour. Know it, believe it. Great Spirit intercedes, feeding you, blessing you, filling all your needs. Dragonfly is number 27, or another 9, and the master of illusions. Dragonfly medicine is one of the dream time and the illusionary facade we accept as physical reality. The iridescence of dragonfly's wings reminds us of colors not found in our everyday experience. Dragonfly's shifting of color, energy, form, and movement explodes into the mind of the observer, bringing vague memories of a time or place where magic reigned. Some legends say that Dragonfly was once a dragon, and that dragon had scales like dragonfly's wings. Dragon was full of wisdom and flew through the night, bringing light with its fiery breath. The breath of dragon brought forth the art of magic and the illusions of changing form. When dragon got caught in its own facade, Coyote tricked dragon into changing form, and the shape of its new body became like dragonflies. In accepting the challenge to prove its power and magical prowess, dragon lost its power. Dragonfly is the essence of the winds of change, the messages of wisdom and enlightenment, and the communication from the elemental world. This elemental world is made up of the tiny spirits of planets, of plants, and of the elements air, earth, fire, and water. In essence, this world is full of nature spirits. If Dragonfly has flown today to you, you may have forgotten to water your plants. On another level, you may need to give thanks for the foods you eat for sustaining your body. On the psychological level, it may be time to break down the illusions you have held that restrict your actions or ideas. Dragonfly medicines always beckons you to seek out the parts of your habits which you need to change. Have you put on too much weight, or have you started to look like a scarecrow? Have you tended to changes you have wanted to make in your life? If you feel the need for change, call on Dragonfly to guide you through the mists of illusions to the pathway of transformation. See how you can apply the art of illusion to your present question or situation, and remember that things are never completely as they seem. In the contrary, are you trying to prove yourself or someone else that you have power? Are you caught in an illusion that weakens your true feelings or minimizes your abilities? If so, you may have contracted dragonfly dive bombing. In this final crash and burn for some pipe dream that had no real purpose? Looking within and feel the sense of self energy within yourself. Notice if it is ebbing, and find the point in time when you were deluded into believing that you would be happier if you changed because someone else wanted you to. Misery is a prime clue that you lost your will and personal validity when you bought into someone else's idea of who or what you should be. The illusion was that you would be happier if you did it their way. In forfeiting what you know is right and true for you personally, you give away your power. It is time for you to take it back. Follow Dragonfly to the place inside your body where magic is still alive, and drink deeply of its power. This strength belongs to you. It is the power of becoming the illusion. This ability is ever-changing and contains within it the knowledge that you are creating it all. So before entering the portal, I would like you to put in front of a mirror and I would like to ask you to ask yourselves these questions. Who am I in the mirror? What do I see in the image of myself? How do I feel the crafted self? And where is your inner voice in that mirror? If you go a bit more in depth into research about the dragonfly, you'll find out astonishing things. Just two I would like to mention. And maybe that gives you a bit more understanding why this little animal has so much insight. A dragonfly has about 30,000 eyes. And actually he has two pairs of eyes. One for higher vibration light and basically two others for the lower vibrational light. And because those eyes are so big and so many in numbers, they can see in 360 degrees at all time, every single moment. So now for us humans, do you accept yourself as you are right now? Would you love to carry yourselves with you into the next dimension? And the only thing that you basically can do to be or to become anew through letting go of everything that you perceived so far. Where would you hold yourself in the unholdable unknown that you are going through? Can you trust the night? Can you trust the darkness? Do you see yourself going through and becoming anew? The state of being in the portal, when you are one with all that goes through that portal, where you have to be one with all that there is of you and all around. Can you trust and therefore let go of where you are to arrive at the new destination? Can you stop all the thinking that holds you here in the matter state and mainly in the past? And can you go with the flow of your intention to contain that is, which is you, but is another part of the totality of the all of us? Now, to give you a clear vision of how you could travel, here you can see those rings that are empty. And if I show you maybe a more accurate image of what we call a star, You have seen this in the beginning of the no time video. And here I would like to share with you another insight of how it might really look like to be a star. So maybe it's not as it is shown to us, but maybe it's much more closer to what we already are part of. So what if you are changing all the time? Every part of a second, to perceive and to experience all that is happening in a totality, the craft that you own, everyone which is part of here and now. So you could basically change the color at any time. Now, does anyone have to tell you that you can do it? Or could you just make it your own, as you already crafted yourself? And if we go a bit more in an abstract way, that star in yourself, as yourself, was never afraid in the dark. So it is only your perception of how much you can let go of what you know to be you, true, and of need for your existence. And yet, you know, since a couple of time, that there is more to the eye in the invisible. So the field of creation doesn't end with your shape as a body. It extends furthermore out into the non-matter state. And yet we have a name, the plasmatic field energy, which is definitely not compact or dense anymore, but part of a dynamic, bigger structure that is, on the other hand, more loose than you. So do you lose yourself in that small picture? And can you still trust to redeploy or remanifest yourself at a new place in a different sandbox? The key here is to integrate whatever you are looking for. And so from that space and time where there is no space and time, to give you an overview, that this voice from your inside, it's not a voice as the voice you hear now. We can speak in silence and yet you understand. You can feel the answer or the question that comes up. So basically, can you put yourself as an existing environment to your soul, into the soul, and integrate it into that star that we have seen now in many pictures? And when you become just the star without the body, then you would be able to travel with all the other stars, almost hand in hand. So let's come back to Earth once more. And try to learn from nature that is all around us and is already showing us how it is done. Can you integrate the light in the water that you are and make it so bright that you become part of the totality? So when we are here in the very beginning of there is just one, or just one unification of all there is, you again have the choice of basically choosing if you would like to start with an empty space or with a full space. Let's say we are all part of a big star. So now you are covering yourself in the matter state. And you pretend to be separate from all there is. Yet you are just the same like here, but inside. So every animal would do the same. Every bird would do the same. It is like a container of the light. So now when we put up a mirror in front of all these entities, and now we put you in front of the mirror, do you see yourself as equal to all men? Do you see yourself as a lower man or a higher man? Do you see that you are all containing the same, and therefore you could be just content as a ball or a star that travels through the unknown, to reappear maybe in this shape, or maybe in this shape, or that shape, or a piece of cake. So can you basically make the all of you going into this compact non-matter form, yet always changing state, and therefore formless? Yet, as we have seen, even between colorless and most colorful there is. So now for those who think that here we are empty, or in this state we are full, you would see just the opposite of yourselves around that makes you be able to exist. So we are now going into the topic that I was announcing last week, and we have basically met before, which is the language that goes internal, or if you like, the soul communication, where you speak from one to one, and therefore you need to recognize yourself first before you can recognize anything else. So if you're empty, or you have the feeling of emptiness, or you have the feeling of being full, and yet in regard to the totality you're just a fragment of all there is, so you can't be literally full, you have to die. This is properly written because I don't mean to the other one of dying, but basically I mean dear you, eternal. I think that everyone by today is aware that if this is the matter state and this is the soul state, that the matter state is possible of decaying to becoming again part of the bigger picture, so fusing with the soil or with the totality of the planet. And so maybe this one does the same, just reversed. What I mean by dear you eternal is that you listen to those words that I'm adding now. Maybe you just think of yourself standing in front of a mirror, or basically you could close now your eyes and watch into the dark mirror, the black hole that it shows yourself just when you close your eyes. Dear you eternal, I welcome your presence. It is you that I am, together within, in all ways. You are my closest love. You are in my very heart, and together we share every moment of the here and now. We are one. As a family, we travel through space and time. And in the past, it was me who did let you hurt myself. As I see by now, you are the other me in you. I welcome you within me as I unite us all as one. In the universe of myself, the I, to share with you the eternal love of the origin and source of all creation. Drink, eat, and breathe without condition. I set you free, I love you freely, and I be as you, free as myself. I am unconditional love, and therefore you can be. Join me, fuse me, welcome me home. There is no more separation. If you put some color on clothes, if you dye something, it gives you another reflection of the light. So, can you make yourself bread or flush, or how you call it? So when you spoil your love, she or he might get red in the face. Can you make yourself in that emotion where you fall in love with yourself? And in that very moment where you are falling, wouldn't you say that maybe it is the portal that you're falling through? So maybe there is nothing you really need, but you just need to be yourself. That self which is part of all of us. And therefore you can let go of all the matter that is around you. Because the star that is within you knows the path and has gone there many times before. So, what is your intention? that you bring into the dark hole or the black hole, or what is that you hold in yourself that lets you contain yourself. Can you elaborate? Can you cultivate? Can you gather that love within you, that you have enough in all situations, be it in the desert, be it in the water, be it in the air, or somewhere in space, where you are amongst yourself? So your home gets just a bigger roof. It's not just your car anymore, or it's not your body anymore, but it can become a solar system itself. Or you could see, as in the intro video of the Mozhan training, that there is a slight hint of how you can become another planet. So which one do you choose to become after going through the portal? Now I ask you, do you really need to know now? Or can you just enjoy the here and now, and you would do in anyways the same on the other side? Here we are in the limit, or in the limited shape. So your matter is holding you back. I just need to get Stefania. She's about to join us. 1 second. So dye, or putting up a color as you as a star, is meaning, do you know your emotions? Do you know how far your electrons are actually circling around you? Can you see what vibration they have? Are they in a slow state, or are they in a very high frequency? The matter state of your body is what makes you very slow, and your soul in the head, or if you sustain the connection in your heart, is how you perceive the world around. So when you attract, you have to give away at the same time. When you receive, you have to share. Otherwise, you would just limit yourself by holding, or maybe even stealing from the environment. And so if we zoom a bit more inside of you, do you know how many you are already? So I want you to take again that vision, or that perspective of that you are not one but many ones, the totality in an abstract, or here as in a fractalized existence in this shape and form. So if all your body cells have the same core, then you are already one big family. So in the moment everything is working well, you feel yourself good, happy and content, fit and energyful, and yet you are always connecting to the outside, breathing in and breathing out. So now the next step will be a short exercise. This is just a very easy one. I would like to ask you to close your eyes. Try to sit comfortable wherever, or lay down wherever you are. And with every breath you are taking, I would like you to imagine that now you are connected to life. So you receive life, and when you exhale, you give life. So life is not something that belongs to you, but you are part of. And whenever you receive it, you just give it away freely. So breathe in. Through the more and more relaxed state, if you go into the Sandman exercise, you can connect through the oxygen that comes in. You're basically feeling that what makes you create water, and therefore you supply yourself with this resource in your body. So you are cultivating water, or you gather the light that is entrapped in the oxygen within you and makes itself as a water being, you experiencing like a transformer that can take in and give out. So if you still have your eyes closed, try to turn away a little bit from the screen that you don't have, or maybe you can also cover your eyes with the hands so that you can see just pitch black in best case. So, no matter if you are just happy to know that there is a portal, I just bring it now a bit closer to you, so that portal is already within you. And therefore, if you like to communicate through the soul, it happens the same way like you do already very naturally every single moment. So the oxygen carries particles of light, and that light particularly also comes maybe through waves or through particles through your skin into yourself. But wait a moment, I just told you before that you are a star. So maybe it's the other way around. So you are already giving, you are already shining. And the more you give or the more you shine, the more you will attract, because you're in a bigger exchange. So the more you focus on your emotional family that gets gathered in the heart, which is obviously connected through the many branches of yourself, it's just coming and going in and out here. But this already happens in a bigger scale, and also in a bigger scale. And now we can start to put in again. Here you are. Here you think. But first, before you think, you do breathe. That's the most needed for your existence, as long as you're in the physicality. So your heart beats, your lungs are breathing, you as an organism is in that moment. And if we wouldn't know better, by all the temptations and food companies that serve us so many delicious things, we could have stayed that way. So integrate the field and be part of a bigger picture. And so through the attachment that we are trained, or that we know that we just have to consume through the mouse, or basically through the matter state, we hold ourselves like with an anchor to the ground in this regard. When there is this other condition or this other state of being that Mr. Kesh is called the cloud condition. So how can we create the cloud condition? Is it not already the interchanging energy between your field and the field around you? So where did we put our focus? You remember the telescope? The more we want to go out, or the more we have gone out, the more we also can go back in. If you still have your eyes closed, or if you go back again into that state next time, I want you to become aware what it is displayed on the lids of your closed eyes. If you don't see anything straight away, you can put a little pressure, maybe with your hands, on your eyeballs, and then you will definitely see something else than just black. And the more you can let go of the thinking And if we put it again in a heavy way, that thinking is literally holding you away always from going somewhere else. It distracts you so much because it is so heavy, it basically keeps your emotions in check. So through letting go and basically therefore connect to the bigger picture or the bigger field that you are already part of, is like a star that rises up to the sky and goes home. So the thinking here going around in circles, as I like to put that in the train circle that's in your brain. And these emotions are literally the electrons that go in and out through you. And what goes in your head, you might feel also in your stomach, maybe also in a bigger scale. So next time when you think of food, everyone maybe knows that Italian food here. So if you have this craving for a slice of pizza or whatever cake or food you think you need, first try to put it virtually into you. So you think of it as the love that you would like to be part of, or that one that you would like to have close to you, and see what happens with your creation. If it is not your first time eating a specific food that you are imagining, I would like you to remember how it feels, how it tastes, that you spend some time in that experience. That is not going to be completely new when you eat your 30th piece of a specific food. In truth, it might be like 300 or 3,000 pieces maybe. But see if you can, just through the emotion that you think that you are missing, you can create already in yourself. That you can literally shrink the desire of hunger or the desire to consume. And the less you are thinking, the more your soul is basically free to go out or to shine. So the magnetical rays of the sun or of the star or of your soul is just hindered by whatever comes in between in the matter state. So the more you focus on the level of the material state, you will have to follow basically this logic. But if you can create yourself in a state where you are already content with what you are, that you just can be, you can just be, and then you can breathe. And everything else, the thinking, the having, and the wanting, that is already inside here. This is what it is meant to be, detached from emotions, matter states, connections to this existence as that you are in the very here and now. So the more you practice to just be yourself and apply yourself in doing what you are there to do, because that's how the system is set up, the more you become trustful of that energy. You actually reconnect to yourself by experiencing yourself in the original or the way that is meant to be. So all those layers after the being and the thinking, we try to not get rid of, but for the sake of your existence, try to let it go step by step, or when you're already in advanced stage, try just to not think anymore. And if you are breathing and breathing in as receiving the life and breathing out and giving the life, so you can apply it to your thoughts. So imagine that whatever or however you are breathing in, you're breathing in like a stream of energy, and through that stream of energy you can basically load it with your thoughts. So whenever you have a thought, don't judge it, but in the moment you're breathing in, you're aware of this thought, and when you're breathing out, you're just loading this stream of air with your thoughts, and you just say goodbye in that very moment. So hello and goodbye. Hello and goodbye. This is the situation in your mind or in your brain when you basically have these thoughts or things coming around. And literally when you want to see who is sitting in the train passing you by or what is going on in the train, that is when you are focused too much on that matter state or on that energy that literally drives you crazy. So you can do it through the breathing. There are other ways, but the breathing is the natural and the easiest way that everyone is hopefully capable to do in a most natural way. So let go of the thinking by when the train is coming, load it with the thoughts and let it go. And every time the train is coming, you load it with your thoughts and it's breathing out and it's passing by. If you manage to lower your rhythm of heart by reducing the speed of breathing, let's say, or the frequency of breathing, you will see that it gets easier because it's not so stressful. When you have too many thoughts coming up into your head, then it's quite like a stressful packing situation, all putting the thoughts in it, and or maybe the train gets bigger until you have the whole track full of train. That's not what we want. So just try to relax as the Sandman does on the beach, and you're sending your thoughts away with the train, or you can even deliver it to the ocean waves or to the wind. There are many ways of how you can let go. So when we go back again to hopefully make it a bit more obvious how you can literally dissolve yourself at first, how you can let go of all that keeps you holding on something. Perceive yourself as one part of the totality of the many ones, the soup of the white screen that we had in the beginning. So everything that comes out of this soul is literally coming into two, which is then your brain. Those two together create again what I call the Trinity, or the first family. So you have the brain and then the heart as a tree. So you solve most of your issues or your challenges by taking the upper position and basically unite what seems to be separated. In the moment that you are content or containing your creation at the fullest, the energy that you perceive to be true to yourself, you can go and build that up until to the state where you could imagine to live in that state to the infinite or eternal. That means that this is the point where you as a creation is content enough to withstand any chance of getting lost or basically placed in many parts or pieces. So if you are managing to achieve a harmonious state of your being, be it 7 parts of you that you can see, or be it 130 billion parts in yourself that you can see here as ones, all should be treated, if possible, like a reflection of one to themselves. And because then everyone or every single cell speaks the same language, you are also able to connect to them. So maybe it is that your inner guidance or your inner voice, see if I can comment here. No, it's not possible somehow. So every one of these many ones in the separated or in the more diverse creation would go as a one into the big one, and that one would be just the smallest one within you. So put it in a way that you speak the same language by recognizing everyone or everything as yourself, as part of you. So what we try to unite you with the totality within you is basically the same unification process with the humans going to the stars. You need to be, or you need to see yourself, or you need to behave as a star, as the other ones, as stars in the sky. When we look into the mankind these days, there are many ones that would like to eat everyone up, or put strings or cables or whatever to just control the situation. But it's totally the opposite of how it is done. And therefore you have so much to learn from what is wrongly put to the environment or to yourself or to us as a as a race or as a species. So when you hear your unspoken words from your inner voice, can you see where it is coming from? Can you accept that insight that is given to yourself, by yourself, to the many ones that you are basically hosting as a family, amongst the only one that is non-matter state? So if we go back to the whiteboard, or to the blackboard, so we put first a white one in there. Now we put another one there, the one there, another one there, another one there, which will be perceived as just one. And yet, as we have seen, it is maybe more of a spherical shape, a 360-degree perception of what's going on, and therefore what comes around goes around. And so it must be obvious to you what you put into the mirror you will receive again from the mirror. Because the mirror is just one of your layers, or every layer of your illusionary separation of the complexity of what you perceive as you. And now you understand that just the white can see the black, and in the black the white can be hidden when you zoom out. Wait, I have a better picture for this. I would like to share with you this very beautiful picture. So you see now what it is in the portal. It is black, and when you leave the portal, you will see you need the totally opposite to actually be perceived as a portal. So now maybe you understand that when the circle in the beginning be the soul, and fragments as electrons, that's the closest name we have, is what is coming from the center and is going to your limit, or what is that we call the aura. And then the separation in between are just layers of different states of matter, where everything is held or holden in a literally non-matter state, as the aura or the connection is going through those boundaries of the matter state. It gets a bit easier when we imagine this cartoon person I think he looks like that. Talking of the SpongeBob. And I'm literally talking of myself as maybe perceiving about 30 years of existence as a human. I already thought that it might be more, whatever, joyful or at least helpful to be more in a state of metal, to be hard and therefore strong and persistence against any odds that would come. But when in reality we are much more like a SpongeBob. So everything that you call yourself as dense on the skin is literally not really dense. It just is a bit more stable than that goes through. So if you perceive yourself as a sponge and the air or the plasmatic fields you are already part of, then you are basically that what we had in the beginning. You take yourself in illusory separation of the totality to perceive a reality of your own or as an individual reflection. Everyone, no matter what entity, is exactly doing the same. So we are literally exchanging through the skin. So all those layers here, they are not really that closed up, but more so there are holes like in a Swiss cheese, if you like. And the breathing is the most vivid example of how you exchange your inside with the outsides. When literally maybe it is just the outside of your existence that you are exchanging yourself with as a reflection, because the light here, you will go through so many portals all the time to see itself again as the reflection of itself. So the only way you can go inside is through the mirror, and that leads you illusionary to the outside in the beginning, but then throws you right back into your core. So we were talking about cloud condition, or how I like to call it, different terms of stances. So you're not basically a substance, but a way of how you basically hold or contain yourself in a picturesque imagination. So that stance, this posture of existence, is how you are enabling yourself to travel by letting go. So the dream state that is all over the place outside of the matter is always connected to your core. And one of the boundaries is the thinking that goes around, because it is closer to the matter state. So the faster the train goes around here in a circle, the more gravitation, or the more basically can be also the opposite magnetical repulsion you will get. So it will be like plus and plus. So you contain then the soul like a prisoner. So you need to loosen up the thinking, and then your soul is being able to expand. This is how you connect to all the different states of being, not by going out and hunting them down and putting them on the wall with the heads, but more so with the integration of the totality into your one separate existence, which is, again, as I mentioned, illusionary. Okay, that was, I think, quite intense listening course so far. I would like you to ask if there is anyone has a question so far, if there is something that is not clear by now, or if you just need some more time to let it sink in. I would like to open the group here, and I see that also Stefania is finally here. Stefania, are you here?
Yes, I'm here, yeah.
Hey,
yes.
Stefania, welcome back.
I dropped out, I couldn't go back in.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you for today.
Does it make sense what I'm sharing here, Stefania?
I mean, as I said, because I dropped out and I'm back in, I miss quite a lot. But from what I see now, the mirror, that definitely doesn't make sense. I do remember Mr. Cash saying that the universe is a mirror, but I will have to go deeper to be able to explain what he said. But I just remember this. Even Mr. Cash, I think, was saying that the universe is like a mirror. But so I was trying to understand what you were saying here and try to make a comparison. So I really like the work you put into, like the sound and the colors, the drawings, a lot of work.
I hope I can visualize the attachments or the connections we have in the many different ways. And some are literally materialistic and some are directly from the soul. And the thinking is usually what gets in the way. So becoming to an empty mind is what I was referring to in the what I meant here. That if you think you are empty or if you are full, then basically that means you can just see black and white. So you are in the second level, in the duality here. And now when you can basically fuse them together into one, you unite your existence as an understanding, or how you basically look at yourself in the mirror. So by fusing these, you could say, okay, now the perfect state would be the color of gray. Let's see if I can find here some gray color. like here. And so now there is a bit more shiny gray if you have the reflecting surface of the mirror. So basically, it would be then like a, how you call it, like a chrome, even able to reflect the light. And so I call this the let's say the life insurance of the soul, because when you have nothing to worry, because you can't be destroyed, because just the matter can be basically built up and built down again. So this is the, you see, when you have in the beginning the soul that sits in a matter state environment here, so it is the, how I call it, the life insurance of the creation. So whatever happens to the matter, it is not the end for the soul. So now we are just in that final stage, hopefully, to get rid of the fear that we end when we don't see or have the body anymore. So, okay, if nobody has a question, I will ask a couple of people. So, for the beginning, if I may, Balis, can I ask you, does it make any sense to you what I'm sharing with the group today? Or there is maybe Galip. We already had some exchange beside the training. Can you share your perspective on today's session?
Hello, dear Andreas. Thank you for inviting me to speak. I want to thank you for the lesson. As you know, today is the day we start, as you mentioned in the beginning. It's hard to put in words what it's going on, and yes, it's just very difficult for me at the moment. So I want to apologize if I cannot.
It's okay. But thank you anyways.
Thank you too. Thank you too.
Yeah, can I add something, Andreas?
Yes, please, Danilo.
Yeah, I was practicing all of this since you suggested me the channel After School. It's a channel that they take great masters and teachers and they create cartoons for the speech, for the teaching of them. And whoa, it's helping me a lot. Some days ago, I was having some problems like panic and anxiety. And this state of not thinking helped me a lot. And the day I decided that I will not remember my past. My past never existed. It's only a ghost. And my future will never exist because I will live on the eternal now. So the day I decided to live like this, it's like I died and I reborn again as a phoenix. And Today I decide to be the best version of myself, and I am. And I decide to be the happiest man in the world, and I am. And I also decided to make everybody happy around me, and I'm doing it. So I received this message of not thinking in my dream. I told this dream several times, but I will give a quick, I will say, uh, three knowledge seekers, they came to me in my dream and they showed me a teleportation device. It was like a round mirror. They put it on the ground and it started to project a hologram of a sunset, 3D hologram. And when I look into the sun, I felt the most big love of my life. It was higher, higher, higher than every love that I felt, even the love that I felt for my son. So when I felt this amazing love, looking at the hologram, the three knowledge seekers in my dream, they told me, uh, don't think, don't go through your mind. If you go through your mind, you're gonna miss. And I did what they told me. Then I changed my location. I traveled through emotions of love, through the emotion of the sun, the hologram. I changed my location. Then I was in another place seeing the sunset. And they clearly told me, don't think, don't go through your mind. You think you're gonna miss, you're gonna fail. Trust your emotion. And everything makes a lot of sense to me. And I just want to add this. Thank you. I'm loving very much everything.
Thank you for sharing, Danilo. Thank you very much.
Hello, Andres.
Hello, Gail.
This is not quite as emotional as what has been explained, but I just wonder if you could, and by the way, I really enjoy your pictures and everything, the way you put them together, and the colors, it's absolutely touching. And also the way that you go through the different animals. I particularly appreciate that. I have a question. I think, the little photo that says your body, when you leave, please take it with you. Is there anything or any way that we can think about how we can put our solar physicality, if we leave and we're not supposed to leave a dead body behind, how can we look at that?
Okay, thank you for the question. I would like to put it in a drawing. So now we have you as just man itself, and now we transform this to, let's say, the soul, and then your aura, and in between is the physicality. So everything that is black is gravitational, and it's, somewhere here is the skin.
Are you drawing at the moment? Because I can see.
Yes. Sorry, I was having the wrong side. 1 second.
Thank you.
Okay, so this is the so far image of the man, and now we transform it into a spherical symbol or drawing. So let's say, okay, we have the soul in your heart, or it can be also here, or you can even perceive this as the proton, and this is the electron. So those are basically from the same, but this goes very fast around, so it can be anywhere here. And so we come to this, that we have a center in every being or creation. And so the aura is basically that, let's say, the outer limit of what shines from your soul. And then if I can draw it here somehow nicely. So that would be you now with the combination of the understanding of the soul inside and the aura around. So there are different states that you can actually take in position, so you can see your aura field or the color of someone else's aura. Can you see that?
Are you asking if on the right hand side?
I'm asking in general. Did you see that before, or?
Yes, sometimes, yes, and even around trees, so on.
Okay, beautiful. So this energy field is, if you say it is visible to you, then you will see that if you focus to see it, you won't see it, right? It's more a state of you let it happen, so you let it show it to yourself. Am I correct?
Sometimes, for example, with the tree, you don't actually look right at the tree itself. It's sort of like just outside, and then you're able to see the lights, or around the tree.
Yes, that's what I meant. So if this is the tree and we have, say again, an aura around it, we don't look at the tree straight away, but basically you look a bit like passing it by almost. Mm-hmm. And so in that angle between here and here, you will see like difference in colors, and then you will see that one goes closer to the tree and one goes closer afar.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So to your question, literally it means that when your soul is so strong, and basically that the reflection gets stronger as well. So it's a way of density. Literally, when we go in lucid dreaming or into the dream state, for educational purpose, we could say, okay, you leave, and then you have a different experience somewhere else. When yet it is the other experience that you can integrate into yourself, which means the stronger basically your soul is, or the more you accept yourself as you are, the more intense becomes this envelope, as Mr. Kesh is calling it. Mm-hmm. And in this envelope, let's put it that way, you don't need to basically be in the human shape anymore, because you are content with the envelope itself. So the envelope is here, it's the same, and here. So if those are the same, those are the same too. Can you see?
On the left-hand side, are you saying it's matching the aura? I'm not sure which one you're referring to there.
Okay, so if the center of the envelope has the same, let's say like here. Usually we have this, it's from wax, like a stamp you put on it's back in the days, you put some wax on it and the stamp to close it. So let's say this is the soul in the center of the envelope, and then you have the aura, which is the the border of the envelope. So this is the same like you with your soul inside and the aura around.
Okay.
So when you think in terms of volumetric shape, if you have to squeeze your body through a keyhole, or if you want to go through a closed door, it will be quite difficult to pass. If you can manage to become flat or slim like an envelope, you can push yourself underneath, you know.
Okay.
So basically the soul is the knowing, or that what we say the consciousness is included here in this envelope, and it is the same here in this circle shape. So you see either it's a ball, or it is for this example here an envelope, basically where the content, you know, you trust that you are still within, because you don't see yourself as from inside out, but more so from outside in.
So the soul of physicality is that circle in the envelope.
Yes, and the physicality here in white would basically then not matter in the shape and form, but more so in, you know, how it is created.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So let's say, okay, you need just the Mr. Kohan in parts in an envelope, and then you can go through the portal, while you would, if you think that you need to have the same structure all the time, maybe there might be different environments or even planetary systems that don't support, you know, those physical structure. They're more liquid or more in a gaseous state, for example. So this is what it means to basically let yourself go by the physical structure, but containing yourself as an existing entity that is in the primary state, not physical.
And that, if I'm understanding, it should also include your main soul.
Yes, so this will be the main soul in the center, and this is the basically the shining or the reflection.
Mm-hmm. I always think in terms of two souls, so that's where my confusion is.
If you will, you can say the body is the physical soul.
Okay.
And the soul is the non-physical, physical soul. And I'm not sure if you have heard the. I was mentioning that the 3-line mantra in the One Planet, One Race. I wish to elevate my soul. I wish to elevate all the souls within me, and I wish to elevate all the souls around me.
Okay.
So basically, I don't separate the body from its parts, but more so I say, okay, all souls, I say every single cell is a soul, as it contains, you know, the spark or the light itself in it. And there I invite everyone the same, maybe in the invisible around, in the plasmatic shape. And so I wish to elevate my soul as a totality, but also the field that is part of me, you know. Okay. And because this field is able to expand, or that's how we connect in the emotional state. So those colors, or the aura rays, if you like, these are the electrons or the emotions that basically we are interchanging when we meet someone or when we get close to something. So that's how we feel the environment or someone else. So I would like you to talk to the soul on a cellular level.
All of them, yes.
All of them, be it, no, it doesn't really matter where they come from, but you see yourself, and this is what I mean by the Sandman. So if you can perceive yourself as being just a gathering of plenty of particles or even small stars. That's you, how you can make yourself your basically your reality in that creation. So you can invite all of them together, and then you fuse yourself in the environment, because you have here ones, here ones, here ones, so everyone is the same. And so it's the other way around, so you don't separate yourself as better or different, but you merge in the totality of the all one.
Wow, okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
It makes sense. It's just that we're so used to separating them, you know, like we have the one in the heart area and the one in the head and the one in the with the emotional parts, the throat.
Yeah, if you want, you can put it even as 7 or 9 if you take the chakras.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
But when you go even deeper well, maybe we can already add that in. I actually wanted to share that with you. So, okay, this is a mirror, and now you have the opportunity to either reflect yourself, or now you see yourself as a collection of souls or cells. So the same image would then be reflected here.
Okay, yes.
So now basically to meet yourself on a cellular level means that you could basically so this is you here, and then you have some region in your body or some part of your body that is not functioning well, and so let's say it is the foot. So you're going to literally communicate with that specific part of your body. If you train yourself, you can do it also on a cellular level. And so
okay. I read the 10th insight of Celestine Prophecy, and they said if you're hurting, you should focus on that part and let it feel in as much pain as possible. And usually what happens is all the pain goes away and the problem seems to go away. But it wasn't easy to do that at the beginning, for sure. But you had to focus on the pain. I
yes,
don't know what you're saying.
there is this way, or the other way, that you basically flush your cells with oxygen, as you're basically you're basically water, and this means you're 2 particles of light and 1 oxygen. And basically when something is in your body that hurts you, that means it's not in the flow state, so it's not going in the circulation. It is more holding on a specific area itself.
Okay.
So this compact matter state here, that just needs oxygen to go back into the circulation. So if we are too acidic or when we are not liquid in that state, or not in basically possible to exchange with the fields what you gathered, that is what causes the blockade or the border of your emotion, and then you get irritated and it hurts.
Yes.
So either get it back into the flow, into the system, and then therefore you basically send it out as well. You supply it with oxygen, and that's actually how you can find also those spots through the relaxation of your body and the deep breathing. You will see and find which areas are not supplied with enough oxygen.
Okay. I think I understand. It's going to take a little practice.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Can I add something on this?
Please.
Yeah, also is also like Gail said, also you can see it in where you pay attention to. So whatever you pay attention to, for example, to pain, but for example, what I also studied, people need to pay when they pay attention to the part where you don't have pain or the part that moves. As soon as you pay attention, you have this power of be able to change things. So wherever you know, I see like as soon as you pay attention, the structure change. It's like if we shape shifting. If we pay attention to certain things, the things start to change. I mean, that can be shape shifting in a small level, no? We still be able to change things the moment we pay attention. And usually it's also without doing nothing, just just notice things, become the observer, no? So you start to just notice things, and they tend to change and to go back to where they're supposed to go. So maybe we call him this, like, go back to balance. So and for me this is very important for space travel. So because I think, for example, when if you think our soul, is like the sun, and our body like the universe. When you pay your attention in different parts of your body, like Andrea said, you can start communicating with yourself. I see that one as a space travel. So I think that it's what we're gonna do also with the enhancement unit when we travel. So, but in a bigger way, in the big scale. But when you pay attention to different part of your body, so for example, you think about your toes, no? The moment you think about them, they change, they become alive, no? And you can feel them. And it's like if you travel to that point with your soul, no? So I think that it's how space travel is. So as you travel inside your body and connect it with your cell or your toes, or it's where you pay attention to without doing anything, you just notice. I think that it's what, and also that is what we will do in bigger scale when we travel the universe, because our soul is like the sun and our body is like the universe. So you literally already been everywhere in the universe. So maybe like when you travel from your head to your toes, where you travel from the earth to different parts of the universe. I think, yeah, I think it's the same things.
I think, yeah, so I forget where I read it, but our body is like a universe. It's just that we haven't thought of it that way. And even our solar system, if you kind of put it together, can almost be like the shape of humankind, because that's part of our system where we live. So yeah, it's all the same on a grand scale and all the way down to the smallest little cells and so on. They can even be a universe. But we would never,
Yeah, so it's like it just start to become aware, and also the moment you become aware and then you start to feel, it's how also we're gonna travel. So we already do the ironic things that we do this every day all the time, but we don't think in a bigger scale.
Yeah, we don't.
Okay. Yeah, just want to say this.
Well, thank you. Thanks.
Andreas, are you going to join the Spanish community after this meeting? They are asking me.
Yeah, I think we can finish in the next 30 minutes, so that should be good at 10. Yes.
So you are going there?
Yes.
Okay.
Does it start now, Danilo, or at 10?
Right after here, we are going to join the Spanish community.
Okay, okay. Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for asking. Is there anyone else who would like to share? Balis, I wanted to ask you if you saw or heard that what you wanted to hear from the communication aspect. I was not that much into it. I barely touched it. I hope you could see it, what I was showing, and therefore hopefully making clear how you can connect.
Yes, it's more auditive, not visual. Let's say I take screen down, which means I don't look to the screen only from time to time. I close my eyes and I try to visualize what I feel and hear, and create a picture in my soul, not in front of my eyes. And yes, more or less, I feel, let's say, change of emotion when you speak, and also when you're changing in the first part of the lesson uh, regarding the filtering of Zoom background. No, when you have like an aura and lamp.
Yes.
For this reason, I put in the chat. I know it's not able to respond because it's pre-record, but to make this experience to influence with your thoughts, with your soul, by interaction, changing the aura or field extension, and looking with this filtering system to see the change with the physical eyes. Like you are putting the screen, no? This your background, your filtering.
Mm-hmm.
By thoughts, changing the color. It's like an invitation to make experience regarding this, to changing with field emotion.
Yes, the colors actually represent your emotions, so a different state of fields emotion. Yes.
Yes, and I try today in this lesson to look a few in the phone and listen and feeling more without seeing the screen.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I was, let's say, moved by emotion of Galib Galib, no? State of the emotion who show today. I understand it's the things you cannot explain or put in the word, at least not now. And I hope soon Mr. Cash or the other colleagues coming to confirm our confirmation. Thank you.
Thank you, Balis.
Hello, do you hear me?
Hello, Nikolai.
Yes, hi. Thank you for this class today. It's been quite nice. I too wanted to share about the emotion that I felt from the very short moment that Galip was speaking.
Please?
Because it's not the words he's speaking, it's it's through the magnetic field of him. I felt it instantly. And what I wanted to share about is actually something that's been occurring for me in the last few weeks, in different times, in different places, and usually very unexpected. I'm having moments where it feels like I'm dying. And in the same way that if any of you have experienced with plant medicine of any type, there is a feeling of the ego who wants to stay and is very afraid of death. And yet there is the other side of it, which is the very happy excitement of the unknown. And on a new number of occasions now, maybe 3 times in the last month, in very different situations, I felt without the plant medicine that I was dying. And in one particular case, it was with a friend of mine. We were standing in a park down by a farmer's market, and we were just sharing. And mainly he was sharing about certain ideas, about a realization that was coming through him. And I stood there as not speaking, but I felt this whole body sensation of, oh no, is this when I die? Is this how I'm dying? And my body was flooded with different sensations, different heat. And I was in this conversation with this friend who was very, was exploring a new idea or something. A big realization was happening for him for the first time in whatever this topic was that we were discussing. And I didn't want to tell him what was happening for me because I didn't want to ruin this moment of him sharing. But I was really not present with what he was speaking. I was just there as a mirror, and almost as the thought came to say something, the emotion was, no, don't speak, and share this communication with him without speaking. And a moment or so later, his eyes would light up and he would have the realization again of something new that he was speaking about. And it felt like we were playing a game of feedback, back and forth in the ether or in the emotional field. And it was very interesting to have that experience with another person while also seeing myself in the ego dying. And I know it's not me really dying. There was no reason for the physicality to have a problem, but it felt very real. And I looked around and I went, oh no, in the middle of the park like this, then everyone will have to deal with the physicality, and what a annoying problem. And oh man. And then I came back in the body again and it went, no, not now. But it's coming. And it's an interesting sensation to know that it's coming in very mundane, normal activity during the day. But yeah, that's what I wanted to share.
Thank you much for your insights and the sharing.
Andreas.
Yeah, hi Malcolm.
It's very interesting as I was contemplating and sharing and trying to get over my shyness, how each of the people spoke of things that I was wishing to share. in a different perspective. Um, so I'll just share something, and hopefully somebody.
Please, yes.
Martial arts to later to study the internal martial arts, and that brought me into Chinese medicine and then into frequency medicine. And I traveled the world studying different frequency medicines and energy medicine and all kinds of bioenergy and the shamanic traditions. Um, but I suppose, and we all, many of us have gone through the cycles of searching for on the outside for this guru or this spiritual master to give us the secret to find our innermost selves. But I suppose after maybe 30 years of searching, I met a human being in Australia who was not a master, not a guru, not anything, just an ordinary. He saw himself as an ordinary man, but he achieved, I suppose, his own peace through a near-death experience. And I suppose in 30 years of me studying with martial art masters and all these different spiritual masters, I think I learned more from him in like an hour conversation that I did in 30 years of searching. But um, bringing me back to what we're experiencing now through your system, the mirror system. Andreas was is a very similar experience for me. Um, and it's not very often that you come across a person that can do that at a level that the person is walking the talk that he talks. So I think we're very blessed to have you and your teachings. Um, what I'd like to share from my experiences with the people, because Daniel mentioned that the transformation he's going through, and Gail, I was asking about the injuries and different things, and Nicole about the death and all the. Um, so sometimes my own experience is that we're hurt only by our own thoughts and our own emotions, because that spiritual man in Australia, one very good saying that he had was that nobody can hurt us unless we
So,
give them.
sorry. Can you speak a little bit louder? Everybody's having
Yeah,
problem to hear you.
sure, Daniel.
Maybe
No.
closer to the mic.
Okay, yeah, no problem. Sorry. So the spiritual man that I was lucky to have met in Australia, he had a very good saying, nice saying that was said, um, we nobody can hurt us unless we give them the power to do so, and that in itself means that we only allow the hurt because through our own emotions or our own thinking. Um, and where was this bring me? So then on to what Gail was asking about the injuries. So I studied Russian martial art maybe for the last 25 years. And the very core of the art is to do with the breath and many breathing systems from the Russian breath masters. So maybe I can expand a little on that, but with injuries or like even emotions. So some of the techniques that we use is, so if it's say a physical injury, we'll say you have an injury in your knee. So what you would do is you would begin to inhale through the kneecap, the front of the kneecap, you inhale and you exhale out the back of the knee. So you do that in a continuous cycle, and then go through the side of the knee and come out the other side of the knee. That would be like a local treatment where you would repeat the breath over and over as you're sitting. You can be sitting watching TV, or you can be just sitting. Um, or you can then take it to another level, and you start inhaling up, say the left, uh, inhaling up through your foot, and bring the cycle of breath around your hips and down into the other foot, and then reverse that cycle. You bring it up the opposite foot, into the leg, into the hips, and down the opposite leg and out of the foot. So in that sense, you would inhale the injury and then exhale it out of the body as Andreas was saying, you get in, you grasp the flow and you make it flow, so you actually move it with the oxygen and with the chi that's circulating with your breath. And then that whole breathing system can be extended throughout the body, where even if you don't have an injury or an emotional issue, where you just breathe through all your body parts and you circulate the breath. So you would breathe down through the top of your head, right down into your feet, into the earth, and then reverse it, breathe up through the feet and exhale out through the top of your head. One thing regarding the emotional, if it's emotions or thinking, you could, they use the heart as a cauldron of transformation. So we would breathe down through the top of the head and breathe into the heart. So this is for if you're thinking, if you're overthinking, if the mind, especially if when you want to sleep and there's lots of thoughts going through your head. So you would catch those thoughts with your inhale in your head, and you would bring them down into the heart and melt them into the heart like a cauldron, and it transforms them into love energy. So you would repeat that cycle over and over and over, and you will find that you'll just fall asleep without even knowing it. And then the same with emotions. If you had strong emotions, or you're going through something with your life, a death of a loved one, especially death can be, stir up huge emotions and that linger, and then, if they're not dealt with, they can sit in the body for a long time. So I found, even through my own experiences with the loss of loved ones, that the breathing was a key tool for me to deal with the grieving process. So you would breathe that emotion and bring it, accept the emotion. So acceptance is a huge thing in the system, where we accept something, and that can be like an emotion or it can be a physical thing, and you breathe it, you inhale it into the heart cauldron and allow the heart to transform it with love energy, and then it dissipates. You'll find that even the death of a close loved one, you will find, if you do that continuously, that you'll come to acceptance much sooner than you would if you didn't, if you were allowing the natural grieving process that people go through, etc. I had lots of more thoughts on the whole thing, but I think that's enough for now. And I hope that something that I have said will help somebody in their own processes. And I wish to thank Andreas again for his amazing teachings, and bringing the Mozhan and this amazing remembrance of who we are really back to us. So thank you, Andreas, and thank you everyone for sharing insight, very insightful.
Thank you very much, Malcolm. Thank you. Okay, I think we, as just Malcolm said, we all can contribute to, and also Nikolai mentioned it, in every single moment, with many different persons, with ourselves. The more we know, the more we know ourselves first, or basically the more in depth we have the connection to ourselves, the more we can basically connect in depth to the environment or to other entities. And I think it's quite beautiful how we can bring all that on the table, and through some experiencing or exercising, even just to apply the knowledge, and therefore see the outcome of the emotional state for every one of us, is definitely helpful. And in the different topics that we have been talking so far, we're going more and more in depth, and the letting go process in the many ways, be it physical, emotional, or even mental states, is, as also Mr. Kesh said, is key. And if key is that what goes in or through the door, then we are going very close to basically just going through the portal and being set up anew or in a different state of being. And the more we can basically access the portal within us, the more friendly this conversation gets, because usually there are still people just afraid of the darkness or the black, which is just a misinterpretation. It's just one way of the contrast spectrum to basically hold or show the light. And the mirror is therefore a beautiful tool to apply the unconditional love that is very it's an easy word, but it's a more different or difficult application. What does it really mean to love unconditionally? And the mirror is basically that symbol that does exactly that. So it doesn't give what gives what has been given in, and so it's no condition on if it's good or bad, but you will get what you give in. So it's a very nice way to learn from ourselves and also from others. So whenever I hear anyone, talking mean or bad stuff in the media, I just ask myself, would I say the same words in front of the mirror, talking to myself? And if I just try to test that and see how I feel, I just have I can just feel that they don't know what they are doing, and they don't really feel themselves anymore. That's why they can throw those harsh words and acts into the world. And we all know what is going on when we treat the mirror like that. So we try to focus on a more constructive and creative way to do good, to be good, and think good, to basically bring the change and bring the mankind back on track, if you will. Okay, so if anyone would like to add something, now would be the time. Otherwise, we are going close to 4 hours almost, and I'm grateful for everyone who has found the time to come here and share with us your energy and your intention, and being part of this family growing day by day. And we hope all to see you soon. And next Monday definitely will be the next session, number 8 in the following teachings of the Mozhan. And I think tomorrow already is the One Planet, One Race, One Planet at 4 o'clock. So Lisbeth,
we tried. Yeah, tomorrow will be good.
I think Lisbeth has the microphone open. Would you like to add something to the session?
I'm so sorry. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Okay, so thank you all for being with us here tonight. And I wish everyone a beautiful dream time in the next few hours, or even a beautiful day if you just started the day. And we will meet again. And thank you all for being here with us and sharing your energy and your insights with all of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Good night.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you.